Asha Tarry, welcome to my living room.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so happy to be joined by you today. Where are you zooming in from?
So I'm in New York City.
Nice. All right, I'm not too far. I'm in New Jersey, northern New Jersey. I just moved from Jersey City to Morris County. So, how is everything? How's my skyline view doing?
Oh, it's great. I'm a little on the outskirts because I travel between New York and the outer boroughs, but it's nice. It's turning into a sunny day, so that makes me happy.
Yes, yes, same here. So I want to talk to you about your career. I mean, you're an author, you're a life coach, psychotherapist, all very needed jobs right now because we're all kind of going a little crazy as we enter, 3.5 months in quarantine.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been doing this work now for 20 years as a psychotherapist. I've had a private practice for 6 of those years. My background is pretty broad. I've worked with clients both in my coaching work internationally and domestically. I had a great opportunity a couple of years ago to work with Thrive Global to help prevent workplace burnout, so working through mindfulness. And now, pleasantly and presently, I'm doing work that I really enjoy and I love, which is helping people to remain grounded during times of uncertainty. So I'm now offering something called compassion coaching, and we have some compassion coaching journals to accompany the work that I'm doing. And I think it's really useful at this time.
Yeah, I love the compassion coaching. So what does that entail?
So that helps people to get more centered because as a mindfulness practitioner, I notice that a lot of people are not. They're thinking ahead or they're living in the past. And so helping them to be mindful now, also bringing in a form of gentility into the spaces in which they exist and coexist with others, because people often feel when they're stressed or worried, harsh. They feel harsh towards themselves or harsh towards people they care about. So I'm working with people to try to center themselves more mindfully and ground in what's happening, but also do it in a very gentle and kind and loving way. So I help them to journal about that. I help them to give language to what they're experiencing, and then hopefully work through those tense moments that they're experiencing, whether they're living with others or having to work from home and doing this work with other people on Zoom all day, by bringing in a mindful, compassionate form of awareness that's going to help them to ease some of that pain and suffering.
So before we started recording, I shared that I am feeling more anxiety now than I did back in March. It was easy to be told, stay home, shut down, and wait this out. And I had a very easy time transitioning my business to just be Zoom based and working from home. And I feel like I succeeded in that. Now, though, as things in the New York, New Jersey area are slowly starting to open back up, for my company, a video production company, we can start resuming filming soon and everything like that. I have more of an issue now with that. What is the new normal going to look like? Is my business going to snap back to where it was 4 months ago? And if it's not, what do I do? What is your advice to people that are like me and kind of fretting about the future?
Good question. I tell people to do what you can right now while planning for the future. So, what that would look like is noticing yourself feeling anxious, noticing the thoughts that are racing through your mind. Don't attach them as character flaws. We are all adapting to the uncertainty of now, but doing that work every day is a form of presence, and it helps people to really not often take things so personally or to assume that they created their circumstances, which a lot of people are feeling really guilty about. And then at the same time, do one thing a day if that works for you that will help you to plan ahead. So I had this conversation with someone yesterday who says, I was always taught to do like many different things to bring in income. And I said, that's great. We do need multiple streams of income. But at this time where you're trying to adapt to working from home and spending time with your kids and your wife, what else can you do that helps to not feel as if you need to get everything done so quickly, so immediately, while also noticing that you are accomplishing things? And so I said, just scale that back. You may not be able to focus on just one thing at a time forever, but what can you focus on now that you feel good about, that you're competent in? And that might mean that you just focus on your books. You focus on, your financial books for the day or for the week, or you focus on doing interviews so that you can get more exposure. So maybe you start reaching out to media and you pitch yourself and you network on LinkedIn. Like that might be the thing you focus on for the next 14 days. That's the one thing that you can continually do to plan ahead while noticing why you may be feeling anxious or feeling worried about what's going on.
No, that's very good advice. In your opinion, do you think that we're going to all just snap back to where we were pre-COVID-19, or do you think that a lot of us have learned to take things a little slower?
My hope is that we'll appreciate what we did get from this time, like noticing what we really value. I noticed for myself, I valued enjoying a place that looks really beautiful. So having a home that felt sunny and reminded me of things that I love, such as people that are in my life, to places I traveled, that made me feel really good so that I could use this time to be here and work and play and not feel like, oh, this is awful because it's tight or closed in or I'm indoors all day. I believe we need to not return to what we once knew, because what we once experienced was an overwhelming sense of desire to get things. And I think when we focus on having material things, we are not necessarily happiest and we aren't necessarily always present. And that's part of that's partly what people are experiencing now, is that they missed out on a lot. They missed out on their kids, time with their family members, their aging loved ones, their health. So this time we are able to reset, we may be able to negotiate with our bosses and our jobs. Can we maybe go in through phases like we're talking about now in the New York City government? Can we maybe work from home part of the time so we can spend more time off public transportation and not necessarily worry about crowds so much? That might help with people's anxiety. I think there's this time for a lot of reasons, and I think there's a lot we could do with it. So I would hope in some ways we don't return to normalcy. I think what we can learn is that we do need each other. We do need to socialize. How we do that might look different, and that's going to be okay too. We've learned before how to navigate life. We'll learn again.
Yeah. I'm sure you feel my pain when I say this. How many hours have you wasted pre-COVID-19 going to meetings? Just, traveling and this and that. And people were afraid to do exactly what we're doing now. Oh, look, I have no makeup on. I don't want people to see I love that has been blown to bits now. We've seen everybody's houses. We've seen everybody in their pajamas. We've seen everybody with no makeup. And yes, there's no discounting face-to-face interaction and being social and everything. But when it's a quick, hey, like come by and let's, meet for a half hour. No, now we can just do this and think about the time that you're going to save not being in the car, battling with traffic, that you can be at home with your family. I think people have realized that there is a value to this too.
Yeah, for a lot of reasons, I think this has been good to point back to what you're saying, because when I was doing mental health for a company outside of my own, there were a lot of people that I never would get the opportunity to meet face to face because I was doing a lot of telephonic work. And for some people, that was awful and they didn't want to have case management type of therapy. They wanted to have the face to face so they could come into the office, and that was, amazing. And they could feel the human connection. But also I've told people that if you think about the time that you spend traveling to your appointment, then going and being in your appointment and returning, you're probably losing 4 hours of your day, even if you live in the city in which you work and attend your appointments. If you could cut 2.5 or 3 hours off your day and get that back to cook dinner at home, watch, TV with your kids, be able to have time to do anything else that you love and save money, wouldn't you choose that and at least have the option of going out as opposed to only going out or only traveling to appointments and to see people? This has also allowed people to learn how to socialize in different ways. I remember when I was growing up, we had a house phone. And I had a house phone until 9/11, and I still had, I think, a phone for a little while after 9/11. But so many people turned to cell phones and texting. Now it's like, hey, remember You have your phone because you can talk on it. You can actually call people. So call people. I have a tea date scheduled with my mom tomorrow. It's going to be remote. And, that's a way for us to stay in touch too.
Yeah. So before I let you go, I know another core of your business, you do a lot of breath work with people. Talk to me about that and how that's maybe changed during the pandemic.
Thank you for asking that. That's one of the most important pieces of the work that I do in both consulting and coaching people. And it's that thing that we all have to ourselves, that gift that we know is there, but oftentimes gets lost in, again, working so hard to acquire things and being busy. And I say to people, this is the least expensive thing that you can do, but without it, it's going to cost you a lot. So when we get stressed, we breathe from our upper chest cavity, which are shallow breaths, which tend to raise cortisol levels, which tends to increase inflammation, makes us sick over time. So if you can get into a position where you're sitting or standing, drop your shoulders, just release the muscles in your face, and just breathe from your diaphragm like babies do when you see them lying on their back and their bellies are expanding. And that's the way we should be breathing. And that's going to help to balance those thoughts in our minds, chasing things, racing into the future, leveling off, our blood pressure from elevating when we're stressed, to noticing ourselves and what we need, and then being able to use our wise mind to go after that. So diaphragmatic breathing is like the best thing we can do for ourselves.
I love that. I love that. Well, where can people find out more about you and to get more mindful tips?
Go to my page, lifecoachasha.com. That's where they can find more about the compassion journaling and the compassion coaching sessions, my new book that's coming out, Adulting as a Millennial.
Oh,
And
congratulations on your
yeah, thank
book.
you so much.
Oh, talk
Thank
to me
you.
about that.
Yeah. So I have a forthcoming book, the first book I've ever written. It's called Adulting as a Millennial, a guide to everything your parents didn't teach you. And I'm so proud of it because there's a lot of beautiful anecdotes about what I've learned through the years that I've applied to my life to transform my life dramatically, to the people who helped me along the way. And it offers some insightful questions for people to consider. It's really for millennials, but it's also for people who know millennials, so that you can offer support and guidance, which they really need around relationships and career and being present in mind.
I love that. When does it come out?
So it's coming out the end of June. Right now, we're doing pre-orders for the book on my website. So you can go get your pre-order today at lifecoachasha.com. And people can talk to me on social media. I'm on Twitter at Asha Tarry, Asha Tarry Mental on Instagram. And we oftentimes do lives like this, and we talk to people and we network with people and we share supportive help through just mindfulness practices there too.
That is so important. I always tell, because with my company, I have interns that are in college, and I always tell them that the worst time period in my life was the summer after I graduated college.
Oh.
Because you were so used to a routine, and you knew after one grade came the next grade, and even if you moved up and moved schools, there was always school in September. So when there wasn't anymore, I was like, oh my God, now all of a sudden there's all this pressure to get the full-time job, to get the relationship. And I think because I put so much pressure on myself, I made a lot of mistakes in those years after along the way. And I think schools, parents, there needs to be more work done to prepare the millennials for the real world. And
I
it sounds
agree.
like the book does that.
Yeah, I agree. This book really is something I want to see in institutions at the high school level, even, because I
Yeah.
think we need to do that earlier. We need to really prepare students for being able to adapt to changes in the world as well as the changes in their schedule. And that, asking for help and reaching for support is something that we really need to do sooner, so that when kids get to college, like I did, they're not consumed with work and becoming depressed because they're isolating. That was a really hard time for me. So this book talks about those things and who helped me along the way, but I literally had to ask for help, and then that led to more help. There are a lot of young people who don't know where to go and where to begin, and so then they come out of school extremely anxious and comparing themselves to others and believing they need to have all the answers. And this book is saying that's not true, but here's some things you can do to think differently about your life and how to prepare for it. And there's no better time than now. There's no reason to think it's too late. It's not. We can still work on ourselves.
Yeah, and especially for the students coming out of college this year, of all years, my heart goes out to them because I mean I had anxiety, but 2006, that's when I graduated college. It was, you know, the world wasn't on fire like it is right now. So
Yeah.
they need that hand holding.
Yeah, and we need to, like, I'm in Generation X, I'm at the very beginning of that. And so I'm on the cusp of the millennial generation in my own. And I really honored in this book the people who helped me, but I know many people who didn't have help. They didn't have mentors. They didn't have models to guide them or that they could copy after. And so this is really a book for everyone who's also in the life of a millennial, because we need to do more for them. We need to make ourselves available to them. We need to be able to be patient with them. They don't know and they shouldn't know everything. That's what we're here for as the adults in their lives too.
Yeah. Well, when the book is out and we could see people in person, I would love to get you on my show, Hip New Jersey,
Great.
to do a feature on it because I think it's super important.
Thank you
Needed
so
that
much,
you're doing it. Yeah.
Marie. That would
Yeah.
be awesome.
Okay. Awesome. Well, we'll keep in touch for sure.
Thank you.
One more time, just give your website.
Yep, Life Coach Asha, and that's spelled ASHA.com, lifecoachasha.com.
Great. Well, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I look forward to connecting outside of this interview soon.
Me too. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.